Hello, my name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am not talking about any of those things. I'm going to be getting vulnerable about my personal situation. So I have to get some disclaimers out of the way for the sake of my sanity and also how we are going to be handling this conversation. If you don't know what's going on, 6 months ago, my husband was incarcerated for something that occurred shortly after he turned 19. They took almost a decade to decide how that should be handled, and it was a decade of stress, and for the sake of possible future legal action, I'm not going to be talking about the nitty-gritty of the case. I'm not going to be talking about my own personal thoughts and feelings about how the case was handled, the people involved, or it's really hard not to say anything negative here. Anyway, I won't be talking about that for the possibility of future legal action. Once I get clarification that future legal action will not be occurring, then I might talk more about these things in detail, but for now, I will not be talking about them more in detail. Comments discussing all of this, or questioning all of this, or putting my personal details out, or putting my husband's personal details out will be deleted. And if it gets out of hand, I will lock comments down on this video because I don't have the time or energy to deal with this. I'm going through this currently. It is currently my trauma. So making it your like true crime case, like the true crime girlies, no, we're not doing that. I also want to disclaim a few things. If you don't care about all of this, go, you're fine. If you came here for the nitty-gritty details, go, because you're not getting it. And if you came here because you're pro-incarceration, you can skedaddle right on off my channel, because I am at no point pro-incarceration. I have never been pro-incarceration. I think that the United States prison system creates, not I think, statistically it's proven that the United States prison system creates more crime than it prevents, because it is not for rehabilitating individuals, it is not for creating any sense of justice, it's actually only for vengeance, punishment, and to make money off of individuals. It is legalized slavery, and if you look at the statistics of the amount of people that are incarcerated and what those people look like, that'll prove my point. So let's get talking. It has been about 6 months since my husband was incarcerated, and the first 3 months were a lot. The first 3 months were incredibly hard. My brain was actively blanking my memory out for a while there. I would go to bed and have no idea how I got there. I was just missing huge chunks of time because I was just so disassociated. And because I've been through so much trauma as an individual prior to this, that my brain just was like, this sucks and I don't want to remember any of it, let's delete it in live mode. It's kind of like how Twitter was testing in prod instead of in development mode. That's what my brain was doing with my memory. There was a lot of crying. I was crying all the time. I was waking up and crying. I was going to bed and crying. I felt like I physically couldn't move sometimes because I was crying so much. I felt like I couldn't take care of myself. I couldn't take care of the house. I sobbed all the time about having to take care of the pets. It was just too much to deal with. And I was drinking a lot. Like, I will absolutely admit that I was drinking a lot at the time because I just couldn't. Dealing with any of this sober was just not something I was going to be able to do. And I almost think that there's a little bit of forgiveness to that because I was by myself. There were a lot of people that did come by, but nobody was able to give me the kind of support that I felt like I wanted. And that wasn't anybody's fault, because there was a quote in a book that I read during this time that was like, you want everybody to be there for you, but you also feel like you don't deserve them to be there for you, and that it's not acceptable to need them there for you. And that feeling is very conflicting and overwhelming, and so it felt like every single time someone checked on me, I was pissed off about it, but then also when they didn't check up on me, I was pissed off about it. Like, there was no right action for anybody involved because I was just in this very, very soft, vulnerable place. Everything felt painful. Literally everything felt painful. Doing Christmas without my spouse, we've never done Christmas apart from each other, and I'm not a Christmas person. I don't like Christmas. It's not my thing, sir. It's not my thing, and even that was incredibly hard. We put up our Christmas tree together, and having to take it down by myself, I don't recommend that for anybody. It was really difficult. There was a lot of unknowns about the system. Was he going to stay in county? Was he going to go to the prison system? What was going to happen? How was that going to be done? What does time served look like? How is good time managed? Is he qualified for good time? It was really, really difficult. And then in December, he was transferred to the prison system, and I had almost no contact for 2 weeks, which up until that point, we'd had pretty consistent contact. It wasn't like constant, but at least once a day we would talk to each other. Now, I will say the difference between county and state prisons is, in Texas, is county only allows for 30-minute visits, and you only get like 10-minute phone calls, 15-minute phone calls, and that's it. Versus state, you get 2-hour contact visits, 2-hour non-contact visits, whichever, and you also get 30-minute phone calls. So pros and cons, I guess. The county had free messaging, state does not. But all of these things were things I had to learn. I'm really grateful for the organization TIFA, which is Texas Incarcerated Families Association, I think is what it's called. If you've ever wanted to donate money to anything, I would recommend donating to TIFA, because I would have lost my mind without them. That group of people educated me in ways that the website doesn't educate you. Google won't educate you. Only people who've been through the system can educate you. And it also led me to a Facebook group of individuals who have incarcerated loved ones in the same unit as my spouse. And I'm really, really grateful for that, because I would not have been able to find the amount of information that I found. I also love that I can ask questions. Like, I feel very safe asking questions, which I'm really grateful for, because I joined that group prior to knowing when he was going to be incarcerated, so I was already pretty educated, but then there were things that had come up that I just didn't understand. And so being able to safely ask those questions, because the website wasn't helpful, the Google wasn't helpful, like being able to ask those questions from people who get it and who aren't going to make me feel like shit about it, and who aren't going to be like, well, he deserves to be there. Like, there wasn't any of that. That's not the vibe of this group. That was probably the saving grace for me. And then when I joined the Facebook group in the unit, there was a lot of like open, vulnerable conversations of like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. This is my first time dealing with this. Not just from me, but from other individuals. I'm emotional already, sorry. So like having that support, because my friends and family can be as supportive as they want, and you guys can be as supportive as you want, but because you haven't been through it, most of you, you don't get it, and you won't get it. You just won't get it. These people get it. Even though we have different stances and mindsets and lifestyles, everything's different, they get it on a level that nobody else is going to be able to get. And being able to be vulnerable with them has been really helpful. But the first 3 months were really toxic. I was wilding out online, saying very out-of-pocket shit on TikTok, mostly like picking fights and whatever, because I was angry at the whole world and I couldn't figure out how to be a person without my person. It was really hard. And the no contact thing was really difficult, because my spouse and I have always been long distance or medium distance. When we got together, he lived in California. When he finally moved to Texas, he was still 2 hours away. This was the first time we'd ever lived together. So we're really good at communicating over distances and not seeing each other. We're really good at that. But then going completely no contact, almost like we could do letters, but they took ages to get to it there. That was really hard. And I didn't know where he was for a little while. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if he was okay. And then our first couple of visits had to be no contact, and I was expecting us to kind of immediately get contact, but I wasn't even sure. So yeah, that was hard. The last 3 months, I am doing considerably better. I stopped keeping alcohol in the house completely. Occasionally I'll get like ciders or wine, but I don't keep liquor in my house. It's not that I have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, it's that I was developing an unhealthy relationship with alcohol because of everything going on. I wasn't in a place to drink it safely. I will drink when I go out with friends or family. I'll have a drink because I'm in a social situation, I'm having fun, I need it less. Like I still enjoy, like I enjoy a mixed drink before the drink. Like it's not for the getting drunk. So I will have an occasional drink, but it's drinking at home that got really dark really fast, so I just stopped keeping alcohol in the house. I make a lot of mocktails now though, because I do love to have a nice little drink at the end of the day, but it doesn't have to have alcohol in it. And kind of learning that part of the drinking for me at home was more about I wanted a nice little drink as a treat and that it didn't have to have alcohol in it. So that's helped a lot. It's also helped me be less emotional about everything because I'm not literally putting poison in my body to deal with shit. I did start developing agoraphobia though in the last 3 months. That's great. It is more like agoraphobic tendencies and it leans more on my social anxiety than it does anything else. But if I'm leaving my house by myself to do things by myself, I have a really hard time. Like a really hard time. I just struggle with it. I'm working on it. I force myself to leave my house by myself to do things by myself once a week. I haven't done it this past week because work was really bad. I'm also trying to be consciously aware of my mental state because if I try to leave the house on a bad work day, it's going to be a bad day. Like I shouldn't do that. And I learned that lesson the hard way and now I know. So I haven't left the house just yet this week, but I will be doing so tomorrow. I have no problem going outside. There seems to be this misconception that it's going outside in general. No. I walk around my neighborhood all the time. It's more leaving my neighborhood as a whole because that's the known. I can always get back to my house. When I leave my neighborhood, getting back to my house could be prevented by a number of things, and then I started obsessing over that and spiraling. Also because for a while there, every time I left my house, something happened. The highway was closed, I would get lost, I got into a car accident, my husband got moved, like something would happen every time I left my house. And so it kind of was like, I should just maybe not leave. And it doesn't help that my husband also feels like I shouldn't leave because he can't do anything to protect me. So that's been hard and I'm working on it. I have a therapist and we love her. We're working on it. I am also super fucking broke. I'm having to budget heavily. I'm like canceling things left and right and trying to figure things out. I just can't keep up. Like I can't catch up. I'm basically drowning and I might have to get a second job. Losing an entire income and having my own bills and debt to pay off right now is really difficult with the recession. Everything is so expensive, which is hard. So I'm working on it, but it's really incredible to me that our system is this broken because it costs so much money to just even have a conversation with my spouse. And that's where I struggle a little bit because it's expensive to talk to someone who's incarcerated, just have a conversation with someone who's incarcerated. And that's bullshit. Sorry. It should be free. For anyone's like, but what about letters? Stamps cost money, besties. For everyone, including for him. So like I would have to send him money to be able to buy stamps to send me a letter where I will also have to buy stamps and envelopes. And I had to buy paper because I didn't have paper for this. It has to be plain paper. So none of the paper I had would work. It's just expensive and dumb. Every week gets easier. But about once a month I just, cry and grieve and I'm sad. And it is what it is, right? My situation isn't going to change overnight, no matter how I think about it or want it to change. It's not going to. I have figured out some hacks on how to get myself to clean and do more around the house and take care of myself and the pets. I've had friends come and stay multiple days, which I have discovered is kind of the best way for me to socialize, and also gives them the peace of mind that they did something helpful for me. So there's that. My love language is acts of service, so when my friends stay, they have like done cleaning and stuff around the house, which has been really nice. Without asking, it makes me really emotional. But yeah, and that's how the last 6 months has gone. It's been hard, and it gets easier, but it won't get, perfect at any point. Right now, the money thing is kind of my biggest stressor, but I'm working on it. I'm figuring things out. I'm trying really hard, and I'm trying to be vulnerable and honest about these things in my vlogs, but I'm also trying to keep my own peace by not oversharing and not letting myself get so hyper-focused in my anger about all of it. Not anger at my spouse. In my anger about all of it, like I don't want to be angry, and I'm working really hard not to be, but sometimes that's really difficult. So, I'm just working really hard. But that's it. That's kind of my 6-month update, and the agoraphobia thing real quickly. I kind of just glazed over that, but we are working on it. But that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, I guess. Thank you to everyone that's been so encouraging and helpful, especially when I had to ask for help with rent. It meant a lot to me, and I'm really, really grateful for all of you. So yeah. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. I would love to get monetized and make a little bit of money off of this. That would make my life a little bit easier, but I need 4,000 watch hours, and I just don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you did. If you didn't, I'm sorry. And I will see you guys again on Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and again on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every single week. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.